Hi everybody, that was the shortest bit of necromancing we've ever done. Right there, hi everybody, welcome to another of Alan Robson's Night Owls, Grizzlies, our ghost walks. Kenny, of course, an integral part of the team. Behind the camera, we've got Hollywood McShane trying not to stand in sheep dottle. And we've brought you to an amazing place tonight that's got a lot of different stories. We're going to set a few traps. We're going to carry out a ceremony that's never been carried out in this place for 2,000 years. So get ready for that. And if you do it at home, you don't need anything. You don't need mirrors. You do need a candle. So have a candle handy if you want to do this, because this should allow you to see spirit in your own home. Now, whether you want to bring spirit into your own home is up to you, but we'll give you the chance to do it a bit later on. So, why are we here? None of the guys knew anything about this place, and yet we've driven that road a lot. And you've probably been this way too. We're loaded up with traps to place around and about once the sun goes down just a little bit further. As you can see, a beautiful night, bit windy. We're told to expect a little bit of rain as well, so we are prepared. However, I want to start you off telling you where we're going tonight. I'm taking you to a place called the Temple of Mithras. Have you ever heard of Mithras?
I'd never heard of it.
Mithras. Now, you drive past this and you say the Temple of Mithras is on the military road, which is a road the Romans built that is just straight as a die. It runs straight across the country, and it's an amazing bit of work. Kind of runs parallel with the A69, for those of you that know this neck of the woods. Now, Mithras was a god, but when you research it back, you discover, yes, he's a god, but it's also a cult from Iran, Persia. Right. It was a Persian cult. And the reason that the Romans loved Mithras, he was an immense warrior. And you knock him down and he'd get back up. He was the Chumbawamba of his day. If he got bruised, if he got cut, he stood back up and he took on enemies 2 and 3 times his size. But this cult has a fascinating thing, because I'm going to teach you all about that, right? I'm going to teach you. It's how we say hello, isn't it? Night, Kenny. The middle finger. Yes, it's offensive. Don't wish to offend, but I'm going to tell you why people do that. Now, the followers of Mithras believed in the shaking of hands, the bonding of 2 hands together. Now, give us your hand.
Right.
Now, the way that they shook hands was like that.
Ah, right, like that, yeah.
Now, that's shaking hands back in the day, Roman times. Also, just to chuck in a little funny while you're on, the word testimony. You know when you give testimony in court?
Yes, yeah.
Do you know that it harkens back to the days of the Romans, when people had to go in front of a Roman prefect and swear by holding their testes, and they would lose them if they lied. So that's testimony. You're risking everything. That's just an aside. But the handshake.
Right.
Now,
like that.
A Mithraic handshake was a way that they could find out whether the person they're just meeting was a fellow follower.
Right. Right, because they wouldn't know that otherwise.
They wouldn't know that. Yeah. They just say
secret handshake.
So what they did was that. So they would go...
With the middle finger.
They'd put the middle finger and then they'd go like that.
Right.
Now, a certain group called the Freemasons followed the same principle all those years later, and you've got to remember a lot of their principles go back to Roman and biblical times. But the middle finger. So when the Christians decided to persecute and try and wipe out the followers of Mithras, when they found somebody shaking hands that made that little feeling there as if, oh, hang on, the Christians and the Romans who led to dislike them did that, saying, I know what you are, and you're in danger, and we could completely wipe you out. So next time somebody does that, you'll know the story. We already know that the two-fingered symbol comes from Agincourt, because the French used to capture English bowmen that were wiping them out and cut their two fingers off. So when other bowmen saw the French, they did that to say, I've still got my fingers for my longbow. So I'm going to load you full of information and facts. But the main reason we're here is ghosts. A guy called Ray saw a ghost here 3 weeks ago with 3 children and his dog. The dog went loopy. He saw a woman in a white dress, long red hair in plaits, and he saw her kind of floating along past a stream, a little burn that's down here that has one of the big ghost stories of Northumberland on it. He said, why don't you come here? So we have. Now, this place here, I have to show you before we go any further. This is Coventina's well. Very cool story. Coventina was a water nymph, a goddess, half British, half Roman. Right. Now, a lot of people believe that Coventina actually was a real person. And they say that Coventina was the sea nymph who handed King Arthur his sword, the Lady in the Lake. But you've got to remember, the Lady in the Lake's BS. Yeah. The real story was King Arthur, Arturius, the half-Roman, came from Cumbria in this part of the world. This is where he did his battles. This is where he supported and helped people. And if you want the full story, on robsonsworld.com, the story, the walking in the footsteps of the real King Arthur, goes on this week. So it's something worth you having a look at. Anyway, this woman, whether she was that woman, I doubt very, very much. However, she was greatly beloved. And Coventina has this particular well. Now, the followers of Rome built an altar here to her. So this was just part of it. I don't know whether you can see the ground here. It runs along to about there, and then cuts round. Yeah. There's a huge square where Coventina's story was told. But the main reason that we're here to see Coventina, because what Ray described, he didn't know anything about Coventina. Right. However, how he described her, wearing white, tied in the middle, long red hair, is how everybody's described Coventina. And it said that her spirit was commonly seen here from the 1200s. Right. And obviously something is still here because Ray saw it 3 weeks ago. So the whole Coventina story is the reason kind of that we're here. Right. Fascinating, weird, but that's not all that's here. We're taking you to the actual temple. The believers of Mithras also say that if you put a stone in the water, it sends a direct signal to your ancestors, and they send their spirit to help and guide you. So we're going to put some water in the water that they put stones in a little bit later as well. That's just an added little something. So a hole in the ground, you'd never see this from the road. No. Back in its day, it had an incredible temple around it, as I say, and I don't know whether you can see down there. You can absolutely. It's still a well, still doing its thing. Yeah. But on this building, as you can see, there's stones here. Originally, and in a museum nearby, there's a big plaque that they found from here, and on it, it has a proclamation that says, "To the goddess Coventina," and it was Titus Costonianus, the prefect of the cohort of Batavians. We dedicate this stone to you freely, is essentially what they say. And the only reason I remembered Titus Costonianus was, you think 3 things. Which cash and carry do you go to? Costco. Yeah. what hurts when you walk? Me knee. And what's itchy? Me anus. So that's how I remembered the three. But anyway, let's carry on, because that's essentially her story.
Right.
But where she was seen is down yonder. So we're going to head to the temple first. But please keep your eyes open. I know we're in the wide open here. Kenny's got his night vision on already, but we're looking for anything at all. We want to see images. We want to see whatever you guys can see as we make our way around. We're also going to have periods where we just let the place do its thing, because we want to hear. Apparently people have heard absolute abject screams, and the big story of the burn. Yes, someone saw the Coventine there, or an image that looked like it. Is that the one, or is that the one? No, it's that one. But there's an even more famous ghost story there. We got so many tales to tell of this place. But let's go and have a look at it. Now, we got to be careful here, because on 2 signs just getting to this point, we're warned about adders. And I don't know whether you heard that story about the woman who was bitten by an adder just this last week.
I didn't actually, no.
It's a very scary thing to be bitten by Britain's poisonous snake. Where's the gateway in? This is obviously, isn't it?
Is this it?
Or is that it? Oh, it is this one. We're in. Yeah, oh, are we? No, I beg your pardon. You're quite right, Tony. You're quite right. Let's do the temple first, because we can set that up and then come back to it, because we're going to plant traps all over that place. The reason I nearly went in there, and if you just look across to my right-hand side, you'll see like a built-up turf embankment, because that, whether you realise it or not, is a Roman fort.
Just there?
Right there. The Romans, when they were building Hadrian's Wall in...
Oh, dear me.
Come on, Kenny, you were at school then.
I
Come
know,
on. You saw it in the news.
Do you know, I don't know. Hang on.
Everybody should know. 122.
Is it?
Yes, 122.
AD?
Yeah, and it lasted for 300 years,
Right.
and it was defended. It was overwhelmed on 2 occasions.
Right.
One by the Picts and Scots. That was about 180, and then in the middle 300s, I think it was about 330, the Gaels attacked it. The Irish came over, landed in Scotland, and breached the wall. And there's so many stories. And, you know, we're walking essentially in a field. When we came down here, we had to come past sheep and lambs.
I was going to say, we're going to, and cows across there, I'm just looking.
I'm in,
What's going to happen here?
I'm in Kenny's car tonight, because I knew there'd be sheep dotted up to my elbows, so... And I bit the dust last week, so I'm bound to bite the dust again.
Because this field, yeah, is only even that we're going into.
But you see, you'd come here and you'd think, oh, I'm just walking in a field.
Yeah.
However, what you've got to remember is, look at this kind of view. And I know you guys at home, we're very fortunate, because we're never too far away from a vista like this. And behind me, can you imagine though, with your mind's eye, what that was?
Amazing, you know, when you look.
That would have Roman soldiers walking along, carrying their spears and their big square shields, and they're looking out and linking up Hadrian's Wall. 16 castles, 16 fortifications like this, roughly every 5-6 miles.
There could be all sorts underneath there, couldn't there?
Absolutely, and it's not been
Sword, shield, everything.
it's not been excavated.
Yeah.
How amazing. I mean, incredible. Now, you've also got to remember that Hadrian's Wall had 16 of these dotted along. They had a mile castle, so every mile they'd have a tower.
Right.
And then every 5 or 6 miles, they'd have a fortification like this. And there was 500 men here from all over the place. But you've got to look out for spirit tonight, because I really do believe that you always go to a place where people have seen stuff of the moment.
Yeah.
And this is where people have seen. And it's an incredible place to start with. I'll tell you more stories about the castle once we go into it. But down here is the actual temple itself. And it's a surprising little treasure. Now, the followers of Mithras, they started off, a lot of the Romans would support anybody's god. The good thing about the Romans, they had soldiers from all over the world.
Yeah.
So the soldiers that they picked up around all had their own beliefs. And the Romans never forced their own religion on those soldiers. They let them believe what they liked, which I thought very modern, really.
Yeah.
Very modern. However, after a while, they'd support them as much as they could. And when Roman soldiers who served just there, Roman soldiers, 500 of them, when they said, we want a temple to our God, they said, well, all right, build your temple. So they built the temple that's at the base of this hill. And then, of course, over the years, Mithras became hated, loathed and despised by the Romans because Christianity came about.
Yeah.
And as soon as Christianity arrived, they started wiping out the followers of Mithras, tens of thousands. And even Roman soldiers that had different beliefs would start centering on followers of Mithras and try to get shot of them too. They became persecuted. And that's why temples like this fall into the state that they have, and it's tragic because this is an amazing temple. This is amazing for so many reasons.
You realise when it gets dark later on, we're not going to see a thing here. There's no light whatsoever.
I understand that. But maybe we'll see everything.
Yeah, exactly.
If we can see what Ray saw, Ray Morris, 3 children, just down here. But I'll tell you that story a bit later because that's something that literally is just past the temple. And then we've got to go around the fort. We've got a fair bit to do tonight, so let's get to it. And I can't wait for the sun to go down because this is the place where I know for a fact there are 3 spirits, 3 ghosts. And I judge this not by just what stories people tell, because you can say any story. But if you get a story that has been repeated and repeated over hundreds of years, well, then there's a chance that there is something going on. So here we are, the Temple of Mithras. Now, you know Mithraic temples because they have a symbol of Mithras slaying a bull. And that's one of the reasons why the Roman soldiers loved him, because he symbolised taking on a challenge that was too big for them and winning. So it was strength, it was courage. And this is his temple. So who's Mithras? Well, this is Broccolitia. See the name on the gate? And you got a squidgy in one way and I'll shut you out and then you can follow suit. And here it is. This is just... Get in first, Kenny, with your camera. Have a look around it. What a place. This is the Temple of Mithras. There's a picture on the board here, Tony, that you might want to have a look at. It's a picture of Mithras slaying the bull. And it's a picture of how this temple would have looked. As you can see, it's kind of below ground. And that's where they put them. So they were out of the way. Underground temples full of followers. And you can see the followers in an underground temple. This temple reenacted on there. And a picture of Mithras and the bull. And here we are, entering the temple. Now, back in the day, this would be very dark. You would go inside and we're not even sure there were any windows to it, just a door. And along the sides here, there'd be seated areas. And at the top of it, a temple. And there is, well, it'd be in Latin anyway, Ken, so it would probably outdo, yeah, I bet you did. But that's Mithras there. Mithras is here, Tony. Oh, okay. So we're going to set a camera up here. So what we can do... Well, that was his...
It's like a skeleton.
Well, you'll see that these areas are open, so you can put a light behind it. And that is one of the things I'm going to do, because nobody will have put a light behind this probably for 2,000 years. So why don't we put a light behind it then?
I think you could put a candle just below it, wouldn't it? With a wind.
Oh, there's spiders in here as well, so... Does that work?
It will later on, yeah, you'll see that later on, I think.
Let me see if I can set it up maybe a little bit better. Oh, it's a big spider's web. I'll just put my hand through it. Oh, that's not fun.
There, that was it. That'll stay there. Isn't it? You'll see that later on.
So, Tony's going to set up the camera. So let's unleash let's set our traps.
Right.
So what you got in here, Ken? Because this is your bag.
Right, I've got a cuddly toy in there and a little toy car, so that we can see if they've got moved.
And we got Gwen.
And we got Gwen.
So let's put Gwen
in the middle. Oh, the sacrifice.
Well, it's funny you should mention sacrifice, because they actually did some of that here.
Did they?
They absolutely did. So let's stand her up, I think.
Yeah. Gwen. Oh.
Let's see if we can...
Suddenly went
I think Gwenny.
Right.
There. So what else are we going to set? Yeah, there's the figure. Now a big thank you to who are they? Durham? They've gone? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to place a couple of... are these on?
Yeah.
Don't know what that was.
You're on.
You've got to press the little button down, haven't you?
Yeah.
Right.
On there, do you think?
I think one on the altar.
One on the altar.
One next to Gwen. And we also have placed a car here. And where we're going to put... It's an elephant with elephant babies. We were thinking Rome. We were thinking Hannibal crossing the Alps maybe to attack Rome. So let's put stick an elephant on there. Whoa.
That lights up nicely, look, starting to, once it gets a bit darker.
Yeah, that'll work.
Explain that the camera's got to stay up there, but I can show you on this one.
Okay.
The signal doesn't reach down here.
So they can see from there though, can they?
Yeah, they can see, but they're not going to see. I'll bring this into...
No, come and see Mithras. I'll take the light out from behind it so you can see it. Mithras with his... So, there's a big cobweb I've got to put my hand through every time and the spider's freaking out.
Go on, Gwen.
Did you just touch Gwen?
I did.
You did. So we're going to leave that there so that later on we put a trap there, we put a car, thanks to Durham Rotary Club, on the top. So setting traps in all directions. And there's a piece of paper that's come out of probably my pocket, Kenny. Can you grab it? I don't want to leave any mess here because we've got to be respectful. It's the Rotary Club of Durham, in fact. So, we're going to carry out a ceremony here when we come back. But make sure you share. We got a night owl badge, not on this coat, but we got a night owl badge, metal one for you, for anybody that shares the most. And 1, 2, 3, 4 traps set here. Shall we leave the bag here too?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll just leave it out the way. Just stick it round the back. Was that just the wind?
Oh, there you go.
Could just be the wind.
Could be. It's shielded behind the wall.
It's shielded. That's why I put it there, because it's shielded.
Stay on there. Little elephants. Ah, could be the wind.
Could be the wind.
Could be.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's quite heavy.
It is.
It's not the lightest thing in the world, that. But let's step out the way. Just if you can imagine, Kenny, what this place was like, or for you guys at home, back in the day, the followers of Mithras gathered in this place, dark, shadowy, and apparently sometimes they were rammed in. How many people do you think you could get in there? 30?
I would think
40?
Maybe, yeah.
Apparently
That's one off.
Look, it's going.
Gwen?
Gwen's going.
Oh my God, that didn't take long.
Gwen's firing.
That did not take long.
Gwen's firing. I think we're gonna have to have this guy on here, aren't we? We're already getting it. It's the first time that we've lit the... I don't know whether anybody has ever lit the altar here.
Probably not.
You got to remember...
Has that just went off there?
No, it's fine.
All right. I don't think it just went off.
And I don't know...
Did I just come back out again? Oh, your pocket. I just heard a noise. Did you hear a noise there?
What was it?
I mean, it could have been...
This is the place. There's 3 ghosts here. Just in the hillside over there, just on beside the fortification, there's the grave of an entire family, and it's a man called Rugulus,
Right.
and he was buried there. He was 34 years of age. His wife was 30. His son was a young boy, aged 10, and his daughter was a baby.
Right.
And all 4 of them died on the same day. Now, could it have been disease? Possibly. Most people think it was an attack by either the Celts. Oh!
Which could be. Oh!
The elephant's done its thing again, Tony.
Right. So...
Now, I'm sorry, but I can't feel any wind down here.
No wind.
I felt it up the top. I think it might be the flap on his lugs. If you don't mind, I'm gonna just take the tag of his lug off. And stand there. You're sheltered from the wind.
And stay there.
And stay there. Once you're in the wall.
You stay on the wall?
I think down there, yeah.
I can't believe Gwen went off straight away.
Right. So the Heffy's there.
Dear me!
Are you getting this? Are you getting this?
Get back up there!
That's...
What the hell? Stay there! Stay there. Where's the camera? Oh, it's there. Not get that.
Will it not? Tony, will that camera pick this up? It's got the whole thing.
Right.
Right. Well, the wind's actually blowing. What little wind there is blowing that way. So if it's the wind,
That's moving.
it's moving.
It's here.
Just one ear.
That just moved, didn't it? I didn't. The ear just moved there, didn't it?
Kenny's camera.
Oh, Kenny's camera.
I'll put the camera on it, yeah.
All right.
It just moved the ear by itself, like
I saw it. But you see,
there. It's moving.
it is moving.
That's not wind. There's no wind.
Look, look, look.
There's no wind.
Oh, come on. Who's doing that? Now, if that was the wind, it would go that way, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah.
But it's blowing, it seems to be blowing both ways for that.
That's moving.
It's moving, Tony. Wow, wow, wow.
No, it's not, look.
But am I feeling anything?
No wind.
Look at me. Is there any wind? Is my hair blowing?
A little bit at the bottom, but no, not...
Not as much as... No. Let's see what we get then. Gwen went off straight away. Oh!
As soon as you put the neck blanket on.
Was that you? Stop. No. Oh. Wherever you want to go, elephant. Wherever you want to go. Right.
And again.
I'm going to put her on the altar next to the ball.
Yeah, right. That's a good idea. There, like that. I'll protect the ball as well, won't I?
Yeah. That's fine. Fact.
Yeah.
Right.
And Gwen
If there's anyone here, talk to me. Oh, is that you? Or you did that? If there's anyone here, move the elephant. Light up the balls. Move the car. Talk to me. What's your name? What's your name? Speak to me. Speak to me. There's something going on here, no question. Oh! Look at his ear.
Oh. That's moving.
The right hand side.
What did it say there? Esteem.
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 Are we showing enough esteem for the place, maybe? Maybe not. Old. Well, can't argue with that. Kenny, just take a walk around the edge. I'll walk with you. Now don't forget everybody. You'll be able to see everything on Kenny's camera. Did you hear any voices, Kenny?
I heard something before.
Just there?
Yeah. That thing.
Yeah?
Is it worth it just being quiet for them?
Yeah, absolutely. We're just going to sit. I'm going to put the necromancer on so you can hear. Now, for you guys at home watching this, we're going to try a ceremony to summon spirit. If you don't wish to do this, just don't repeat any of the words that we use. If you do wish to do it, just place a candle rather, next to wherever you are. And we'll keep the camera on us doing it. Kenny and I will do this thing. We've already put a light behind the altar for the first time in who knows how many years. This whole arrangement was built round about 128 AD. This is a long time ago. So for over 2,000 years. This temple in particular was built in the year 200. So the fortification was well established by then. So we're going to do that. I know Tony on that camera will not be able to pick us up, but I'm sure the other camera will.
Yeah.
So, Kenny, let's go down and carry out a ceremony. But we have to do it the way that they would have done a ceremony.
Cool.
So, now you got to remember this place would be packed at the time. People sitting on galleries at the side. The high priest would stand at the altar, spouting his beliefs and the beliefs of Mithras. I know there's a camera there.
Yeah.
Tony's just come down too. I've just seen something dark just walk up there.
Really up the middle?
Just something just dark, like a shadow, just moved up there. I hope somebody caught something.
When you said say the name? When you said Mithras, in it something.
Mithras. And I just as I was corner of my eye, just something black, almost like it was walking away. Now, I happen to have some ceremony here. So let's do it. Kenny, you're going to have to do it with me, mate.
Right.
That's me sneaky prep notes in case I have to cheat. I hope I won't, but you never know. But I put together, do you mind dirtying your knees?
No.
Let's do it then. One knee.
One knee.
Out of respect, we're not Mithraean. I don't have beliefs in Christianity. I don't know whether you do, Kenny.
I haven't.
No. So we are free of beliefs. We respect your religion. We respect your faith. And Mithras, or whatever spirit or whatever entity exists here, we thank you and we ask you to help us by giving us some kind of sign. Now, if you at home wish to take part, just repeat everything that I say. Kenny, you're going to play their part.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it and you're going to repeat it.
No problem.
Okay? So you repeat it along with Kenny. In this, our shadowy time.
In this, our shadowy time.
This, our darkest hour.
This, our darkest hour.
We call upon the sacred power.
We call upon the sacred power.
3, stand alone.
3, stand alone.
Command the unseen to be shown.
Command the unseen to be shown.
We are seekers.
We are seekers.
Searching land, sea and skies.
Searching land, sea and skies.
Allow us to witness the enchanted ones.
Allow us to witness the enchanted ones.
And see with our own eyes.
And see with our own eyes.
Now let something happen. Let something happen now.
The elephant's moving.
Elephant's moving. Could that just be the wind? Could be,
Possibly,
couldn't it?
Yeah, possibly.
Could be the wind. Now, we would love something to happen. In fact, I'm going to set a trap somewhere else as well, I think. Let's move that. Maybe place it somewhere. There you go. Place that there. Now we're going to leave the camera here.
So we'll see anything that moves.
So anything that moves, I know it's a fairly long distance away, Are you happy to leave it there, Tony?
Yeah, it's got everything in view.
Okay.
You'll get that for somebody else.
So we're going to leave that camera on. It'll catch anything that happens while we move around. There should be a gate somewhere.
No, just there.
We have to come out, do we?
Yeah.
Because we're moving on to the next part of our ghostly trail. And I must admit, this is actually my favourite part of it. It's I think, the best story. You know, you would think everything here had to be Roman, and it isn't. There's another story set down here. It's just starting to get dark. Look at this place.
It takes on a whole different spectrum.
Does it not? Look at it in torchlight though.
That's what I mean,
It just completely changes the nature of the place. Oh, watch out for holes. Broccolitia we're in. And if you notice that there's lots of potholes and divots, I'll tell you the reason for that a bit later on when I explain what broccolitia actually means. So, come on, let's see if there's anything here. Show yourself. We want to see you. I did see something out the corner of my eye there, you know. I hope the camera caught something. And don't forget, if you're at home and you catch anything, especially as it gets, by the time we finish here, this will be jet black.
It will. There's no light here.
Except the light that I put in the altar, which is just there.
That's good, because that'll show a little bit there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something there though, isn't there, Kenny?
There's definitely something in there.
There's something in there.
That there which has been there all the time without something not retaining like a presence in there. You cannot.
Absolutely.
You can feel it, can't you, inside of it?
Yeah, absolutely. You just sense that there's something moving in there.
The 100% is. We need to go back to that later on.
There's something in there though, moving about.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Shouldn't see it there, but
Knock your torch off. I think it's actually clear or just one.
why don't they move something? Touch something. Just touch, move the car. Objects that were left in there, just move. It's noises, you know.
I know.
There's no
I thought it was just me. You looked around and I thought, did I just hear what you heard?
Could that be a cow?
I haven't seen a cow. I've seen sheep. It's not a sheep. We heard something. The Temple of Mithras served soldiers at Carrawburgh, which is the more modern name for the fort. Here between 200, when I told you it was built, and 350, one of 16 forts built for a garrison of 500 soldiers around 130. It remained in use till the end of the 4th century, when they were literally chased out. But it's down here you've got to come. Come down this way, everybody, because I've got another tale to tell, and it's actually, Kenny, what I'm going to do with you, if you don't mind, I want you to cross over the river.
Yeah.
Oh, I see a river. Burn.
Yeah.
Watch the barbed wire. Don't cut yourself, because at night it's easier to... We're coming to a place that used to be called the Dean Burn. It's now known as something else. The Dean Burn is literally just there.
Right.
Kenny, if you can go across and walk Hadrian's Trail,
Right.
which is... It used to be an old supply trail for the Roman soldiers, where people would bring from
Check
farms.
his camera's pointing the right way.
Can you make sure your camera's pointing the right way, even if you have to...
Hated to be looking at the sky.
Even if you hold it and make sure it's pointing down. Now, you can come here at any time as well, which is the coolest thing. So allow me just to sit down and I'll tell you a bit of a tale of this place.
So many different noises. I know it's the wind. The wind's rustling through all the reeds, the grass down the slope here. Up here, this part, as you can see, some white painted stones, obviously markers. So people who do the walk, you know, do the trails here. I've seen some walkers before. I mean, it's history, isn't it? You're walking along in the footsteps where people have walked for years. Well, literally, Roman soldiers would have been as well in these fields, because these wouldn't have changed much. So you may think you're just walking along in the field, but really, you're not. Now, as you can see, the grass is worn away here, obviously where people walk, because the walker's trail, there's the markers for you, just in here. And looking left and right, there is not a light anywhere to be seen. Literally walking in a field, a few trees dotted here and there, nothing. And yet, I keep hearing noises. You keep hearing things. Just little things. Walking down here, as you can see, stepping stones that have been built in, ready for the walkers. That was definitely a noise somewhere. Oh, what was that? What was that? There's noises there. Right, continue the trail. Just a stepping stone. I have no doubt I will encounter a sheep or some other kind of animal in this field. But the steep little hills that just juts off to the left. Everyone should do it, shouldn't they? You know, it's part of our heritage, part of our history, and yet people will probably never ever do this walk. But you should. There's a big car park right next to it. Stick your car in the car park, put a picnic together, put a flask in a backpack, or just drinks, and just come along and do this walk.
So come on down here, everybody. I've got an amazing story to tell you. And remember, these are the kind of places that you can come. Now make sure you share this thing with as many people as you can to help us generate more people. We've sent Kenny off into the darkness and he's not using a torch for some reason. I keep looking back because you can see the glow in the temple of the altar that I've lit up.
You can sit back on there and tell your story if you want.
I will. I shall do that. Now, what a place. Now, most people that come for the Roman story. They come for the story of daring do, and I've got a lot of stories about what happened with this fortification. What the hell's that? Just seen something moving on my left-hand side on the opposite hill. I wish I had Kenny's camera. Just saw something moving there. Now that is the fort that you can see in the distance. Most people come here for the fortifications, to walk on the ground where the Romans did back in the day. And yet the juiciest story is behind this barbed wire fence with chunks of sheep, still, although they're wool anyway, hanging off the fence. because just beyond here is a tiny little stream. For a lot of years, it was called Bent Burn. The Dent Burn, should I say. Now, it's not called the Dent Burn anymore. It's called Maggie's Dent Burn. Now, why and who and all of those questions. Well, let me tell you the true story of what happened right on this spot. There was a woman called Margaret Selby. She was a bit tall. She was a bit gangly. She was a bit less than smooth in her walk. She was a country girl. She had a beautiful body, tall like a model, and a face that was rather plain. Now, jokingly, we call these people Bob Fox. Body off Baywatch, face off Crime Watch. However, a very rich man fell in love with Margaret Selby, and his name was Sir William Fenwick of Wallington Hall. Now, Sir William Fenwick fell head over heels for this girl, met her in Hexham Town, they married, and everybody looked at the couple and thought, he might not be a great looking guy, but he's rich beyond your wildest dreams. Why would he marry someone that's so plain looking? Well, Marie did. And for the first year, it was idyllic, it was happy, it was wonderful, it was tranquil, it was perfect. And then, what happens when you're with a rich man who's surrounded by attractive women and you have a plain-faced wife? He began to leave his wife alone, and Margaret became isolated. She lived a solitary life. She was so rich and powerful, she had inherited Meldon Hall, and Meldon Hall became hers. However, she became paranoid. She thought that every member of staff was out to get her. Sir William, at the few times he would come back to stay in the same building as Margaret, wanted to finish with his woman because he couldn't help her with her mind. And people said she was insane because she was crying all the time. She was screaming. She was yelling at servants. She would do strange things. She would walk out in the countryside in a nightgown, screaming at the moon, screaming at people that weren't there. We've all seen people who suffer from Tourette's, bless them, and they can't help themselves. And whether this was part of her condition, we'll never know. But she would scream and she would blaspheme. And Sir William Fenwick just stayed away with his attractive doxies. And it was when Mad Meg, they called her, Mad Meggie, Meg of Meldon, when Meg of Meldon died, the following day after she was buried, 11 people saw Meg's spirit, her ghost, sitting on her own grave crying. She's been seen since in a place called Newminster Hall, which isn't too far away from here. But she used to get on a horse when she felt really miserable, sometimes in her nightgown, and she would ride along this valley. This very valley, next to the burn that is literally on the opposite side of this. She would ride along the banks. Before, there were wooden fences here. Now, you've got to be careful crossing things like this, so take it easy. And Tony, you too, be careful, mate.
Do you want to see if Kenny's all right? There's the
walkie-talkie.
Walkie-talkie.
Hi, Kenny. Alan to Kenny.
Yeah, receiving.
Can't see your torch anywhere, Ken. Do you want to put it on just so we know where you are?
Can you see my torch there?
No, I can't see anything, mate.
You must be over the hill.
Are you over the hill?
Yeah, I'm across the road. I just went into the little sort of forest bit.
Oh, that's fine then.
That's fine, mate. Are you all right? Are you getting anything?
You feel that there's something here, so I'm just going to keep on with this for a little bit and have a walk along here, further along, next to these trees and stuff.
No worries, man. We'll give you a call in 5-10 minutes.
Perfect, thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Oh well.
So we've established Kenny's over the hill. Right. Now we've just discovered that Kenny is looking at another area. Now, this was the place where Mad Meg rode. We're going to demonstrate exactly where it was, because this here is the Dent Burn, now known as Maggie's Dent Burn. You can see the water. We're going to continue searching for Meg along Maggie's Dent Burn. This is her place. We're looking for her tonight. We're looking for Rugalus, the spirit of Rugalus, who lost his family here, probably to some horrific atrocity when Picts and Scots or Gaels came over and tried to destroy everything. We're hunting for spirit. We haven't even entered the fort yet. We're going there. We've got a whole batch of traps in the temple. We've already had some movement. We've had some lighting up. We've had things moving. What will we see when we get back? We don't know, but come and join us. If people want to do this, Tony, what do they have to do?
Yeah, if you're on Facebook, just hit the link in the description and part 2 will start in the supporters page. And then on YouTube, join the channel and all your part 2s and everything else will become available.
To climb. It's an adventure in itself, isn't it? Getting all these. Well built though. Wow. That wasn't easy. Now coming to the sort of next part of the trail.